This happened in Yijing City, Jiangsu. Serial rape and murder case. The killer known as the young woman killer. An 18-year-old newlywed because she was too beautiful. She has to be locked up by her mother-in-law even while sleeping. But unexpectedly, because of this, she was raped and murdered by the criminal. At the time of the attack, the young woman was pregnant. There was also a 3-month-old baby. The rapist was very rampant. After committing the crime, not only did he not flee. Instead, he continued to assault several other young women. He even leisurely drank porridge at the homes of young women. Now, let's step into the crime scene. The date is February 25, 2000. On that day, Hong Xiu had finished cooking the meal. She called her daughter-in-law, Xiao Hong, to get up and have breakfast. However, when she opened the door, she saw Xiao Hong with her eyes tightly closed. A towel was stuffed in her mouth. Hong Xiu stepped forward to check Xiao Hong's breath. It was discovered that Xiao Hong had stopped breathing. This scene terrified Hong Xiu. She hurried to the police station to report the incident. The police received the emergency call. They arrived at the crime scene immediately. They conducted a preliminary autopsy on Xiao Hong's body. There were obvious red marks on Xiao Hong's neck from being grabbed. Additionally, there was dirt on the blanket. The police lifted the blanket. They found Xiao Hong completely naked. She had been assaulted by a criminal while she was alive. According to reports, Xiao Hong married her husband Zhou Mao a year ago. After getting married, Zhou Mao worked away from home for long periods. He left his parents and Xiao Hong to live together in the village. Because Xiao Hong's parents-in-law were both quite old, there were no strong middle-aged men in the house. Therefore, her mother-in-law, for safety reasons, would lock Xiao Hong in her room to sleep every night. She would open Xiao Hong's room the next morning. So why did the mother-in-law have to be so careful? It turns out that Xiao Hong was the most beautiful woman in the surrounding villages. She was truly the village flower. Additionally, Xiao Hong was 3 months pregnant. The entire family cherished this beloved daughter-in-law. The family favored her greatly. According to Xiao Hong's mother-in-law, Hong Xiu, on the night of the incident, she heard the geese in the yard honking continuously. She wanted to go outside to check the situation, but was stopped by her husband. The geese honked, the geese honked. I said, something's off tonight, we need to get up. Her husband said there was nothing wrong. He said there was nothing wrong. Until the next day, Hong Xiu called her daughter-in-law to get up for breakfast. It was then discovered that the daughter-in-law had been harmed. After the police conducted an investigation at Hong Xiu's house, the police roughly reconstructed the method of the killer's crime. The killer first entered Hong Xiu's house from the west side. The first room on the west side was the storage room. After that was the kitchen. The kitchen is connected to Xiao Hong's bedroom. However, there is no door connecting the storage room and the kitchen. Therefore, the killer dug a hole in the wall. He crawled in. Then he opened the door to Xiao Hong's bedroom from the kitchen. He assaulted Xiao Hong. At the scene, the police discovered biological evidence from the killer, as well as a palm print from the left hand. Technicians estimated the killer's height to be around 1.7 meters. His age was estimated to be between 25 and 40 years old. Due to the limited forensic technology at the time, the police did not have many leads. So who killed Xiao Hong? The police first investigated Xiao Hong's social relationships. The police arrived at the factory where Xiao Hong worked. Xiao Hong's colleagues were saddened to hear the news of her death. They all felt a sense of regret. They stated that Xiao Hong was very kind. She was also very hardworking. She was also very beautiful. Everyone in the factory liked Xiao Hong very much. He is very honest and kind. He works very diligently. He is also quite good-looking. Has he ever had any conflicts with his co-workers? No. There have been no conflicts with co-workers. After the police's thorough investigation, it was found that Xiao Hong had not offended anyone before her death. Therefore, the police ruled out the possibility of a revenge killing. Additionally, Xiao Hong's social connections were very simple. Apart from work, she only stayed at home to take care of her parents-in-law. Therefore, the police also ruled out the possibility of a crime of passion. So, is it possible that Xiao Hong's husband offended someone? Was Xiao Hong implicated? Therefore, the police conducted an investigation into Xiao Hong's husband, Mr. Zhou. Zhou Mao was working at a construction site in Yangzhou. After hearing about his wife's murder, immediately carried a train back to his hometown. Zhou Mao has been working away from home for many years. He does not have close ties with the villagers. So, after some investigation, the police temporarily ruled out the possibility of this matter being related to Zhou Mao, excluded her husband due to emotional entanglements. This suspicion in this regard. At the same time, an investigation into her husband's social relationships. A thorough investigation was also conducted. As a result, this conflict was addressed. It has basically been ruled out. It is not a crime of passion either. So who exactly is the person that killed Xiao Hong? The police investigated individuals with criminal records from several nearby villages, conducted a thorough investigation of each individual. Soon, the police narrowed their focus to a man named Dahai. Dahai is 33 years old this year. Very disreputable. Even though he has a wife, Dahai still mingles with some women of ill repute every day. Moreover, he would also find ways to take advantage of young women. There have been several times Dahai would take advantage of the absence of other men in their homes, and secretly enter other people's houses. He would make advances towards other people's wives. As a result, he was often beaten by others. The police decided to question Dahai. However, when they investigated, they were informed that Dahai was no longer in his hometown. This person was still at home before the incident. However, after the incident, when we went to investigate, this person has already left. The surrounding community said he was. No one knows when he left. The police tracked Dahai all the way. Finally, after 3 days and nights of investigation, they learned that Dahai, after leaving his hometown, he went to Nanjing, Xuanwu district. He stayed there for more than half. After more than a month, then he ran off to Wuxi. So the police immediately rushed to Wuxi. They found Dahai. The police quickly collected Dahai's palm prints. Compared with the killer's palm print found at the crime scene, the comparison results did not match. Dahai's suspicion was eliminated. Since that's the case, why did Dahai run away? In response, Dahai stated that he had always had a bad reputation in the village, so he was afraid that these homicides would make the police suspect that he was involved. Therefore, he wanted to go to another area to avoid the spotlight. However, unexpectedly, it was exactly this action of his. This made the police pay attention to him. After eliminating Dahai as a suspect, the police found 30 more suspicious individuals. However, after comparison, all their suspicions were eliminated. The case fell into a deadlock. By this time, several months had passed since the incident. In order to find the murderer as soon as possible, the police decided to expand the search area. Regarding the migrant workers in the past few months, conduct a comprehensive investigation. The town where Xiao Hong lived is an electronics industrial town. The town, neither too big nor too small, has many electronics factories. As a result, there are many scavengers as well. The police decided to focus their investigation on these unidentified scavengers. Conduct a key investigation. Just then, a woman from the town reported to the police that she had seen a male scavenger. He had scratches on his face, and when she asked the man how he got the injuries on his face, he appeared very flustered. He had scratches on his face. He came back with an unsettled expression. Those who lived with him at the time asked him, "What exactly happened to your face?" He said it was scratched by a branch. The scavenger's surname is Wang. He is about 25 years old. He has a relatively slim build. He is less than 1.7 meters tall. The scavenger, Wang. His description matches that of the killer very closely. So the police immediately launched an investigation into Wang. However, it was discovered that after Xiao Hong was victimized, Wang moved away from the town. Wang's real name is Wang Hai. He had previously been imprisoned for theft, and after a month-long investigation by the police, it was learned that Wang is currently back home for a blind date. Thus, the police immediately rushed to Wang's hometown. When the police questioned Wang, Wang was evasive about how his scratches happened. Hesitant, stammering. He couldn't explain the reason. Subsequently, the police collected Wang's palm prints. Compare the killer's fingerprints. Finally, Wang's suspicion was eliminated. By this time, it had been over 4 months since the incident occurred. All investigations had returned to square one. Until now, the police have not found any clues related to the killer. In the following time, the police screened all suspicious individuals. This investigation took 4 years. Yet, no clues were found. August 2004. DNA technology gradually matured. Yangzhou also established its own database. After establishing the database, the police immediately sent the biological evidence extracted from Xiao Hong's case for testing. The results revealed the killer of Xiao Hong had also assaulted another woman in the same year, and this woman was only 14 years old at the time of the assault. According to the victim, Xiao Mei's description, she was still in her 3rd year of junior high. On the night of the incident, her parents went to work the night shift. She was home alone. She vaguely remembered that the man was bare-chested. He was wearing shorts on the lower half. After breaking into her home, he assaulted her. After the assault, the man appeared completely calm. He even had a bowl of porridge at her house. Only after that did he leave. The suspect even ate at the crime scene. He had some kanji. This reflects that this person has a relatively low standard of living. Secondly, he was at the scene of the case in Hanjiang. He was carrying that utility knife. The utility knife, generally speaking, it should be used more by bricklayers and carpenters. After investigating the scene, the police found that only the killer's biological evidence was present. No other traces were left behind. Technicians confirmed through DNA comparison that Xiao Hong's case was perpetrated by the same individual as the case of the 14-year-old girl. The dagger found by the police at the scene is generally more commonly used by masons and carpenters. Therefore, the police focused their investigation on masons and carpenters. During the investigation, an elderly woman stated that she had previously rented her house to a carpenter. The carpenter's name was Xiao Wu. He lived with his wife. However, after the 14-year-old girl was assaulted, the carpenter and his wife left. The elderly woman said she did not know the carpenter's full name, only that his wife's name was Lu Xia. Therefore, the police investigated people named Lu Xia in Yangzhou in recent years. They carried out checks. A total of over 30 individuals were identified. After the elderly woman identified over 30 people, she ultimately focused on a person from Huaiyan, Jiangsu. This Lu Xia was born in 1965. She came to Yangzhou in the year 2000. Based on their investigation, the police went to Lu Xia's residence, but only saw Lu Xia's family members. Lu Xia's family stated that Lu Xia had divorced a few years ago and had not returned home since. Lu Xia's relatives said that in recent years, Lu Xia had been working at a clothing factory in Yangzhou. The police returned to Yangzhou. They found the garment factory where Lu Xia worked. Through Lu Xia, the police learned that the carpenter Xiao Wu was not her husband. They were merely roommates before. After living together for a while, Lu Xia got a new boyfriend, so she broke up with Xiao Wu. After that, she did not contact Xiao Wu again. Xiao Wu's full name is Zhou Wu. He is from Xinhua City. There is a bridge next to the town. At the edge of the bridge, it seems he has 4 brothers. His family operates boats, and he is the 5th child. Subsequently, the police hurriedly went to Xiao Wu's old home, but they did not see Xiao Wu. Instead, they met his parents. His parents were very excited to see the police. They warmly received the police. They also happily asked the police if they had found their son. It turned out that 5 or 6 years ago, Xiao Wu divorced his ex-wife and left home feeling gloomy. She has not returned. At Xiao Wu's hometown, the police did not obtain any clues. Therefore, at Xiao Wu's hometown, the police could only investigate Xiao Wu's whereabouts again. Finally, 2 months later, the police discovered Xiao Wu's traces in Haining, Zhejiang. However, the police compared Xiao Wu's DNA and fingerprints. After comparing them with the killers, they found that Xiao Wu was not related to the case. Thus, all the clues led to a dead end. The case returned to square one. Time flew by. The police had no leads at all. Until 3 years later, August 31, 2007. Another case of rape occurred in the Yangzhou development zone. Xiaolan is 25 years old this year. On the night of the incident, she had a quarrel with her parents, so she ran alone to her relative's house to sleep. All her relatives were at work for the night shift, so there was only her at home. Unexpectedly, a man broke in during the night and assaulted her. Did he threaten you with anything? I almost got choked by him. What is the person's accent? I can't tell. The police arrived at the crime scene after receiving the report. After the investigation, it was discovered that the killer climbed in through the outside drainage pipe. The police speculated that, at first, this killer just intended to commit theft. They ended up finding Xiao Lan sleeping in bed. That's when he assaulted her. At the scene, the police found biological evidence from the killer. When the technicians compared this DNA sample, they even discovered this DNA profile was linked to the cases of Xiao Hong and the 14-year-old girl. They were both the work of the same person. This was already the third case he had committed. But apart from this clue, the police still couldn't find the whereabouts of the killer. Soon it was 2012. By this time, it had been 12 years since the first case involving Xiao Hong. It had already been 12 years. On August 19, 2012, the police received another emergency call. A woman named Xiao Yu had been assaulted in her rental apartment. At that moment, I shouted for help. He threatened me with scissors. He forced himself on me. If there are no surprises, the killer this time is still him. It seems the killer is becoming more brazen. Furthermore, after assaulting Xiao Yu this time, he also turned on the light. It was this action that allowed Xiao Yu to see the killer's face. At that moment, I discovered he was a man in his 40s. He had a relatively strong build. His face had many bumps. He was shirtless and wrapped in a white towel. After the police arrived at the scene, they also collected biological evidence from the killer. They found a towel that the killer left behind at the scene. The quality of the towel was very poor. There were 2 large holes in it. It seems the killer's living conditions are quite poor. Xiao Yu stated that when she was assaulted, she saw the killer holding a pair of scissors. She works at a nearby factory. She knows that this type of scissors can only be found in the nearby factories. Therefore, the police immediately began searching the nearby factories. They also asked Xiao Yu to describe the appearance of the killer, to create a portrait. An oval face. The eyes, I remember, should be not too big. A bit elongated. Overall, the face can be either chubby or slim. The nose should be a bit bigger, a bit wider, or a bit fuller. Just a little wider. And the mouth should be slightly to the right. As for the overall face shape, look at the entire face shape. The feel of the face shape. Gauge the chubbiness or slimness. About right, the feeling. If we were to rate it out of 10, a perfect score would be 10 out of 10. Then, take a look at this portrait. How similar it looks to the person you saw. Maybe about 8 points, it resembles him about 8 points. After the staff spent 5 hours drawing, they finally completed the killer's portrait. They managed to create it. Next, the police printed out this portrait, and they visited the nearby factories. Then the sketch was compared with the previously investigated suspects. Finally, it was found that there were 8 men who looked very similar to the sketch of the killer. They collected fingerprints from these 8 men. When collecting from the first 5 men, all suspects were ruled out. It wasn't until they found the 6th man, Chen Mao, that Chen Mao turned and ran upon seeing the police. He was caught by the police after running 2 miles. The police collected this person's DNA and compared it with the killer's DNA. The comparison results showed that the 2 DNA samples matched perfectly. At that time, it was August 23, 2012. It had been 12 years since the first case occurred. The police had finally found the killer. And under this solid evidence, Chen Mao could only confess to committing 4 crimes. As for the subsequent 3 cases, Chen Mao only assaulted the victims and did not kill them. But why did Chen Mao want to kill Xiao Hong? The date was February 25, 2000. That day, he got drunk with a few co-workers. On the way home, he passed by Xiao Hong's house. He had seen Xiao Hong before, and knew that she was very beautiful. So he had malicious thoughts. What were you planning to do at the victim's house? I saw there was a chance. It means to find an opportunity. What do you want to find an opportunity for? To have the chance to rape her. He vaguely saw that Xiao Hong's bedroom light was on. And through the window, he saw that only Xiao Hong was lying in the room. Since Xiao Hong's mother-in-law had locked the front door, Chen Mao chose to enter the storage room from the west side. Afterwards, he found a small hole in the wall of the storage room, so he dug out a dozen bricks. He crawled from the storage room into the kitchen. He ran straight over and peered through the hole. He reached into the hole, and when he grabbed, a brick fell down. You said that when you gently pulled a bit, a brick fell down, right? In total, I pulled down over a dozen bricks. After arriving at the kitchen, he opened the door to Xiao Hong's bedroom. When he pulled the blanket off Xiao Hong, he woke Xiao Hong up. Her first reaction was to ask who I was. How did you get in? Get out quickly. When she said those words to you, was she lying down when she said that, or sitting up? She was lying down when she said it. I quickly reached out my hand to cover her mouth. To prevent Xiao Hong from calling for help, Chen Mao tightly covered Xiao Hong's mouth, until Xiao Hong stopped breathing. Xiao Hong's death trap. Chen Mao then began his inhumane actions. Afterward, he covered Xiao Hong with her blanket. Then he retraced his steps. He ran all the way to Yangzhou. At that point, he didn't dare to go back. He went back to Yangzhou by himself. So during the later investigation process, the neighbors around said he definitely didn't belong at home. This murder case that lasted 12 years was solved. December 2013. Chen Mao was sentenced to death for intentional homicide. And Xiao Hong's husband, after learning of this, immediately informed the wronged Xiao Hong. That is my inner feeling. That kind of feeling no one can understand.